Greetings from ABC Acres. I'm Grant Shadden, here along our seasonal wetland, where I'm going to talk about the willow tree and its amazing ability to take root, even from a cut branch like this. I could stick this in that moist soil down there and it will become a new willow tree. I'm going to explain why that is, and then how we can actually take the properties in this wild willow branch and make what's called willow rooting hormone water to be able to infuse that into fruit producing berry bushes, trees, shrubs, all different types of cultivated species that we want to have really great success in our gardens, in our orchards, whatever it is we're wanting to create abundance in. So even if this willow tree were to fall over, and you may have seen this out in the wild, it could fall over into that water and it will grow just right out from that fallen tree more branches. It won't die. And the reason is it has two different acids in it that create incredible hardiness, resilience, and one is called indolabutyric acid and the other is salicylic acid. Now that's a mouthful, but I will explain it. Indolabutyric acid is the rooting hormone compound in the willow, and salicylic acid is actually what aspirin came from, this precursor. Native peoples in America, they would use the willow to reduce inflammation, pain, headaches, and just like aspirin does for us today. And that salicylic acid actually has this stress response, almost adaptogen in it to take something like this cutting where potentially there could be infection, bacteria, fungus that could come in to make this cutting sick, and it creates strength and resilience, and it fights off those bacteria and fungi to allow this plant to grow to maturity. So in taking those two qualities of these acid compounds, we can harvest these branches and we strip the leaves off because we don't need them for our purposes. And I will say willow has just numerous benefits, uses, and we're not going to get into that today, but I could take this branch, create another willow tree, and we could do that by the hundreds, the thousands, and be able to use this in so many different ways that I'm sure we'll get into at another time. But I can take this and cut it up into small 1 inch to 1.5 inch sections to create more surface area for where this cut is. In each point will leach out those acid compounds that we want. And I've done that with some of the branches already, just cutting them up. And once we have the number of little chunks of willow branch that we want, we can just take either tap water at room temperature, pour it over, cover all the branches by 1 inch or 2 and let it sit for several days. Or we can boil water, pour that over the same way, covering it a couple inches, and let it sit for about 24 to 36 hours. And then we strain off the liquid from all the little cuttings and put it in an airtight container, and we can actually keep that and it'll be good for up to 2 months. We can use this. Now, if we have our, say, berry bush, softwood cuttings, just pruning some new growth from branches, either from a neighbor, a friend, or if we have some on our property and we don't want to go buy more plants, well, we can take this willow water, put it in a bucket, a mason jar, and just stick those branches in, allowing them to soak up and take in both the salicylic acid to protect them from disease resistance standpoint, and the indolabutyric acid for that rooting hormone where they'll root more readily, quickly, more vigorous roots, which is what you really want in a new plant. And so we can use this wild hardiness and actually infuse that into our more domesticated plants. And you could also take potting soil, compost, and actually just water a little bit with maybe half water, half of this willow rooting hormone water, and put that, if you're just sticking those cuttings into the soil, and they'll take it up the same way. Now, these are just a couple ways that you can use this willow rooting hormone water and really create abundance from plant material you already have or that you see in the surrounding landscape, and save a lot of money, have more vigorous, healthier plants right from the start, and use nature's abundance and its ability to adapt in some of these unique plants like the willow in your cultivated production landscape. Well, if you have any questions about this, just leave them in the comment section below this video. And as always, thanks for watching.